Last time on Call Cuts.
Does this mean the clown costume gets to come off? My boys, Mario does it all, from running to jumping, busting moves, basketballing, teaching kids how to type, and domestic violence, check. What I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of different ways to enjoy Mario. I would say that there are 4 main pillars of Mario spin-offs. You got Mario Kart, Mario Party, Mario RPGs, and the sports games. But one of these pillars, it's been a little wobbly lately. Now let's just take a quick look at each one. Mario Kart made a game so good, it lasted for a little over 10 years. Mario Party made a generational comeback after years of misdirection. The Mario RPGs got 3 games of the 3 different formulas, all within a year of each other. And Mario Sports, well, it...
Am I?
You're good, buddy. This is honestly still better than Strikers Battle League. I don't know about you, but I grew up with the GameCube Mario sports games. I'm talking Power Tennis, Strikers, Toadstool Tour, and Superstar Baseball. I have a genuine love for them. I mean, I still play them to this day because they hold up so well. Which makes it especially painful to see the newer games be so lackluster. We all know that the Mario sports games that released on Switch were underwhelming, to put it lightly. There's just something about the newer sports games that released on Switch. They don't feel nearly as replayable as the almost 20-year-old predecessors. This is where I originally thought it's because, these games suck. But they don't. I actually think that the sports series showed a lot of promise with Aces and Super Rush. Both of these games are exactly what a Mario sports game should be. They have the core gameplay of the sport with added Mario elements to shake things up. Yet they aren't remembered fondly because they heavily relied on adding content through free DLC. Which doesn't sound like a bad thing. I mean, free DLC, sign me up. But it is a bad thing because the content that they were adding was content that should have been present at launch. Maps and characters should not have been drip-fed to us. On paper, Nintendo likely thought that staggering the release of characters and stages would keep people steadily interested in the game as time went on. But it did the exact opposite. The people who bought the games at launch probably didn't feel the need to return to a lackluster experience, and the people who didn't buy the games probably stayed away from them after hearing the large distaste surrounding them. And come on, how do you want me to react to DLC characters for Mario Tennis?
More free content is coming to the Mario Golf Super Rush game.
Okay, I'm ready.
Koopa Troopa enters the fairway as a playable character.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Dish out tricky shots.
I don't think Super Rush, Aces, and Battle League are inherently bad games. I did get a few hours of enjoyment out of them, and I'm sure there are first-timers and kids out there who enjoy these games. But they are lacking in content, especially this one right here. And that is the worst case scenario for series veterans. It makes these games harder for fans to warrant spending their time and money on when they already have a version that they enjoy much more. Now, can Nintendo make another Tennis, another Golf, and another Strikers that all have much more content and make people more inclined to play them? Yeah, they absolutely can. But let me ask you, will people really want to dish out another $60 for games they can already play on Switch 2 with backwards compatibility? Will longtime fans truly feel the need if they already have a game in the series that they enjoy and prefer? I think that the best way for Mario sports games to improve, both in terms of their gameplay and public perception, is to try new things. We don't really need another golf game. We don't really need another tennis game. I'm honestly scared of a 4th Strikers game with how Battle League turned out. But what we need are new sports. So I am going to pitch to you 3 sports that I think should be Mario-fied and have the potential to become iconic experiences in this series. I always thought that a new Mario sport was such low-hanging fruit, I never understood why Nintendo never tried it. Then when I was Googling sports, I was actually having a hard time. Finding original sports that are in depth enough to justify an entire game was kinda tricky. I mean, badminton, it's just tennis. Volleyball, it's just tennis. Swimming? Well, I like Mario with his shirt on, actually. For this first sport, I honestly thought about just saying baseball, since it's been 17 years since our last game, but I did make the point of introducing a new sport, so I couldn't. My next idea was to find a sport close to baseball, and I thought of cricket because of how popular it is, and it's actually not that hard to understand as I initially thought. It seems like a fun time, but I didn't think it would be easily adapted into having a Mario style. At least nothing that I could come up with. Then I had probably one of the best ideas in my whole life. Something that could scratch that baseball itch and still be an original sport would be Mario Kickball. It is literally the same thing as baseball, you're just kicking the ball rather than swinging with a bat. And I mean, his name is Jumpman. Let's put those legs to use. I honestly think that this could hold more charm than baseball. And to elevate this beyond just kicking and running bases, what if, in Mario fashion, there were platforming segments that needed to be navigated through between bases, which would spice things up and be a perfect twist. The better you are at platforming, the quicker you can get to the base. And to make it a little more in depth, what if you had a meter that you could choose how much power to put into a kick, and the more power you use, the less you would have for running and sprinting towards the bases? Something like this offers the same core experience as baseball, but with an additional layer of strategy that would work so well. Like, I need this in my life. And a new game would certainly mean new characters. Some personal picks for wackier characters that should make an appearance here outside of the core cast would be the Coin Coffer, a Wiggler, the Conquador, and an Ant Trooper. Look at them, they kind of look like they'd be good at kicking and running. I think Mario Kickball is a genius idea, and hey, if you really want baseball, just make it an additional mode. I mean, these sports are so similar, it would barely be an inconvenience to do that. Or just make a new Mario Baseball, I don't know. Now, moving on to another sport that would be a fun pick for Mario and friends to explore, I gotta go with Mario Football. And yeah, maybe don't call this one football, since we didn't call strikers soccer. Maybe something like Mario Blitz Battle. Yeah, I guess that works. Now, the biggest hurdle for an American football-style Mario game is the way in which plays are conducted. It just seems like it would be a rather complicated venture and could prove to be intimidating for people without much knowledge of the actual sport. But the game doesn't need to play like Madden. While Madden is the football game on the market, there used to be a time where there was a variety of different football games on the market, and each had different styles of gameplay. The one I feel that would fit Mario best would have to be the style we see in NFL Blitz. Do you see where I got the name from now? Basically, each team just attempts to make progress on the field toward their respective end zone. And without choreographed plays being chosen, there's an emphasis on action commands that deal with dodging and tackles. Now, as much as I would love to see Yoshi get his spine ruptured by Wario, we're gonna have to tone that down a bit. I think Mario Strikers has a great sense of mayhem and brutality with how you can beat up the opposition, and I would want to see the same in Mario Blitz Battle, but I would also like to see a little more strategy. Incorporating these quick-time action commands for actions such as tackling and dodging would prove to add an extra sense of adrenaline as you're trying to input the correct actions without messing up or being too slow. And I also think power-ups have a perfect fit in this game, with things like the frog suit letting you jump around, making you harder to tackle, double cherries having duplicates that can confuse the enemy, or the metal cap just making you unable to be tackled but much slower in exchange. There's a lot of ways that this game could stand out as a football game with a Mario twist. And once again, some wacky Mario characters that I think would be a good fit for this game would have to be Charging Chuck, of course, a Bullet Bill, a Womp, and a Stingy. Put them all in.
Isn't that Bonsai Bill?
I think that is a refreshing take for a Mario sports game. Something like that is what we want, ideally. So what other sport can we pull from for a solid Mario sports game? Well, This is where I started to properly understand the reason we only get tennis and golf so much is because of how daunting it can be to find a sport interesting enough to make an entire video game out of, as well as able to be Mario-fied. I only came up with 2, and I'm already running on fumes. So my last pick isn't really new for Mario, but again, it's a sport that's been underutilized immensely and only saw one game 18 years ago. basketball is very much deserving of getting another Mario sports game. A standalone basketball game. Get the fuck out of here. Now, what's funny here is Nintendo has never developed a Mario basketball game themselves. The only 2 times it was ever done, they were both developed by Square Enix, and despite how I just treated Sports Mix, these guys they know what they're doing. Both of these versions of Mario Basketball are immensely fun times. Dunking on opponents with the exaggerated swagger of a middle-aged Italian just feels so good. The special moves just feel so satisfying to execute, and there can be a layer of strategy when it comes to team building and traversing the court. I don't think that Mario Basketball would need to take any drastic measures in what it does with its gameplay. I believe the 3 versus 3 team structure from Hoops 3-on-3 works really, really well and makes multiplayer a much more viable thing. The courts would of course have designs based around iconic Mario locations, and it wouldn't be Mario Basketball without Mario power-ups. I imagine that items would be spots that appear on the court floor, and when dribbled on, they would power you up. Dribble on an ice flower spot, and if the opposition touches the ball, they freeze. The propeller could make you shoot up in the air for a chance to make a shot that just can't be guarded, and something like the Tanuki suit could let you hold a jump for longer. Also, imagining cutscenes like strikers have with characters aggressively dunking on each other, that's so fresh. I actually really loved Mario Hoops 3-on-3 as a kid, and that formula has so much potential when you take it off of a DS and turn it into a proper 3D game. Oh, and my pick for even wackier Mario characters to have a chance in the spotlight would be the Bunny. Just straight up the Bunny. The Dolphin, Aluma, and I'm running out of obscure Mario characters. This thing. Yeah, this thing. There you have it. Those are my 3 new Mario sports games, 2 of which are entirely new, and the other one hasn't seen the light of day in so long, it might as well be new. In reality, it doesn't matter what sports we get, as long as they're not giving us worse experiences than what we've already experienced. It's also very important that the future sports games don't rely on DLC updates after the fact, but rather provide a core experience that's replayable and will be looked at as a game that people want to return to at launch. Oh, seeing how many sports there are and how few have the potential to warrant being a full game, I definitely have a new appreciation for Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for tackling all of these sports in a mini-game format. Which, now that I think about it, that series has been absent for a while, and I think I'd gladly give it another chance if we ever got another. And like that right there is how I want to feel about a new Mario sports game. I want to be excited that we're getting a new one, not terrified it's gonna end up like Strikers Battle League, which is why I think Mario really needs new sports to explore. So my boys, if you have any ideas on other sports that deserve a Mario game, go yell at me in the comments, and if you think you're better at me than Mario Baseball, you're lying to yourself, but go yell at me in the comments. But of course, as always, take care of yourselves. You want to go play the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games and make a video about them?